Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Nam and I'm a first year medical student and I've been editing essays for the past 4 or 5 years. I'm trying to share as many lessons as possible so that you can write standout essays. Today we're breaking down prompt number 5. I'm going to be going through sample essays and giving you ideas so that you can kind of get some ideas and write the best possible essay you can. So this one is discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth or new understanding of yourself or others. The reason why I really like this prompt is because um, everybody kind of has these moments that have changed the trajectory of their life and has kind of made them think about themselves in different ways or other people in different ways. And most of the time, these epiphanies, these aha moments, only happen in reflection when we think back to the moments of our life. It never really happens like that where you're just in the moment and you realize how important that moment is. And so that's why I really like these types of essays and these types of stories because it's really cool to reflect on how did that realization affect your life in such a significant way. So let's go through this. The first thing to think about is the introduction. How are you starting this essay off? And I always encourage that your introduction should exactly set the expectations for what the essay is going to be about and answer the prompt directly. So this first one is, after years of struggling with my mental health and self-image, I decided to take up running as a form of therapy and self-care. Little did I know that this decision would change my life in ways I never imagined. So you can see that this really sets the expectations for what this essay is going to be about. It's going to be about running and how that's affected their life. You can also see what their belief systems were before, which is that they struggled with mental health and self-image, as most people do. And so it's really cool to think about, well, what is this essay going to be about? What are the stories that this person is going to share to explain what is the process that they went through to kind of change their life? And this is what I'm expecting to answer. The question is, how did running change your life? Okay, let's look at a more average example, which is one of the biggest accomplishments in my life was graduating from high school. It was a difficult journey, but it taught me a lot about hard work and perseverance. So, again, this is not a bad example, this is an average example. Most people watching this haven't graduated from high school, so you could think of this as like middle school or some other academic achievement. And again, this is not a bad example. I think that this could be a pretty strong opening sentence, but it doesn't exactly establish what was the initial thing that they were feeling. Um, like here, where we talked about kind of mental health issues and body image issues. So it doesn't answer that part of the prompt, and it also doesn't answer exactly what happened to kind of precipitate this new change in belief. It also gives away a little bit of what they learned. So they learned about hard work and perseverance. But again, it's still a great opening sentence. It's not a bad opening sentence, but that's what feedback I would give to kind of improve this. Okay, the next part is the story, which is the bulk of the essay. What is the story that kind of the person went through to learn the principle? So this person talks about how through the process of training and competing in races, I discovered a newfound sense of strength and resilience. I learned to push past my limits and believe in myself, and I also formed deep connections with other runners in the running community. It was an experience that not only transformed my physical health, but also my mental and emotional well-being. I gained a new sense of confidence and purpose, and I began to see the world and myself in a more positive and hopeful light. So you can see this is a pretty good story. They're explaining how running has kind of influenced them and giving some examples of joining a running community, forming deep connections, transforming the physical health, improving their mental and emotional well-being. If I had to give feedback to the student, I would say that I really want to see some stories. I want to see like what were the what was the story of you joining a running community and how that affected your mental health? What was the story about you pushing past your limits and maybe you were exhausted halfway through a 5K and then you kind of had to persevere and push through it? Maybe tell me a story about a time that you formed a deep connection with another runner and how that really influenced you, or how you made an effort to kind of join the running community. Any of these stories is really good for kind of establishing the narrative of your life. And so your essay should be kind of this collection of paragraphs in which there's these really strong stories that you remember that kind of point through trajectory of how you're growing. And then at the end, your conclusion should kind of be the reflection of what that whole narrative of your life means to you and what reflection you've gotten from that experience. So if you can do that, you're set for this story. Okay. The next thing is this example, which is a little bit more of an average example. Throughout high school, I struggled with self-doubt and anxiety. but I also had a strong support system in my family and friends, and I found solace in creative writing and volunteering. So remember, again, this is the person who graduated high school. These experiences helped me develop a sense of identity and purpose and gain a new perspective on the world. So again, this is not a bad example. This is pretty good. It's just average. How would we try to improve this? Well, finally here we see that what is the problem that they were experiencing, which is self-doubt and anxiety. So hopefully I would actually want to see this in the introduction. What is the problem that they're facing? Now I would also want to kind of see more of like what was the precipitating moment that kind of um, changed their thought process, their beliefs, their actions, and I want to see more of more actions that they took. So they found a strong support system. Well, how did they do that? What is the story of how they found support in family and friends? What did they do? Did they start getting on phone calls? Did they make an active effort to find friends? What was the process of figuring out that creative writing is an active solution for their stress and anxiety? What volunteering did they do, and how did that help them? And kind of what is the exact takeaway that they're developing? I get that they're developing a sense of identity and purpose, and gaining a new perspective on the world. But what is that new perspective that they're gaining? What did they learn from the experience? That's kind of what I want to figure out. So I'd figure out, well, what are the stories that they can tell, and how can they be more specific with this to kind of expand the narrative? And that's how this example could become an excellent example. Okay, the last part is a reflection. And the reflection is kind of what are you figuring out from your journey? And how did that influence your belief system and your understanding of yourself and others? So this is the excellent example of running. This experience taught me the power of self-care and the importance of taking care of my mental and physical health. It also showed me the beauty and strength of human connection and how we can support and inspire each other to reach our goals and overcome our challenges. Today, I continue to run and compete, and I also mentor other runners and advocate for mental health awareness and support. Running has become more than just a hobby or a fun form of exercise, it's a way of life. So I can really see that this person connected mental health and running in a pretty interesting way. And I'm kind of understanding how by understanding the power of self-care, they became kind of more in tune with their mental and physical health. And so this is a pretty good reflection that they're coming because it's specific and unique to the story that they told, which is how did the running influence their life? And so essentially their reflection is very specific and unique to running. It's not something that all runners will take away from their experiences. And so it's unique enough to the individual that I learned something about running. And I can also see that they're taking it another step forward. They're continuing to run, they're mentoring other runners, they're advocating for mental health awareness. So I feel like I know this person a lot better than I might know somebody else who didn't give me a unique or a very clear reflection. Okay, let's look at the average one. Average is graduating from high school is a turning point for me, and it showed me that I have the ability to overcome challenges and achieve my goals. It also made me more aware of the importance of mental health and self-care, and inspired me to explore new hobbies and interests. So this is still a pretty good reflection, but if I had to make it an excellent reflection, I would focus on kind of what are the next steps that they're learning from graduating high school? What was the unique and specific lessons that they learned from graduating high school? It seems like there's a lot of different lessons, but unlike this one where the lesson was mostly about taking care of their mental and physical health, here it seems like there's a lot of different lessons, figuring out hard work, figuring out perseverance, figuring out how to overcome challenges, achieve goals. It's too much telling and not enough showing about what exactly is the reflection that they developed from the experience. And so if you can tell somebody in one sentence what is the reflection that you uniquely got from the experience that you had, then that's a great reflection statement. And the goal of these reflections, again, like I said in the other videos, is that somebody who's gone through the same experiences as you should probably not have the same takeaway as you, because the takeaway is unique to how you experience that experience, right? So if somebody plays basketball and they learned that teamwork is important, that's a very non-unique takeaway. That's something that almost everybody gets from taking basketball. If somebody says that, they pass an exam and they learned the value of hard work, that's something that every single person who passed the exam learned the value of hard work because they passed the exam, right? And so you want to kind of be more specific. Like somebody who's running, not everybody who's running will figure out the value of self-care and mental health and the connection between running and mental health, right? That's specific to this person who's writing this essay. So whenever you're thinking about reflection statements, you want to think about, is this specific to my experience, or is this vague to everybody's experiences? And the more you can show that, the more the person is going to learn about how you reflected on your experiences. And if you can do that, you're going to have a solid essay. So some final thoughts. If you want to write a great essay for this, kind of focus on that moment, introduce it in the very beginning. What was that moment that sparked a new realization? What was the issue that you were having before? And what was that growth process, right? Like, can you tell a collection of stories that kind of show the process of growth and show how you understood yourself or other people in a new light? And if you can do that, I think you can write a fantastic essay for this prompt. I hope that was helpful. I'll leave any questions you have in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody. Thank you.